Shalom. We're in Haftarat Mishpatim, Jeremiah 34 and 33, just a couple of verses out of 33. If anyone wants to raise your hand or annotate on the screen, here's how you can do it. And let's see, it looks like we have a volunteer. Voldane, would you like to read the first verse?
Yeah.
Please.
Hardaba Asher Haya El Yi Yemer Yahu Me'et Ye Ha
Um,
Ya.
Close.
Am I doing something wrong?
Uh,
Yay, yay, va.
Pretty close. It's Yod He Vav He. So however you want to treat the Lord's name.
Um, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
you're not offending me. I don't think you're offending God either.
I sure am.
He sees you learning Hebrew and he's like, you get her done.
I usually know that, but I haven't seen it for so long I forgot.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Line two, go
Okay.
ahead.
Akare, Hey Rot, Hamelek, Si Si Yahoo,
Mhm.
Be. What is that? They
Brit. Right. Brit or Brit.
Ho Hasam
Ha'am.
Asher Hasam. I can never say that. Oh,
Mhm.
Asher Beirut Lam
Mhm.
Lik Raw Lahem Day Raw. Day
That's
Raw.
right. Dro. Very good. There is a furtive chirik in exactly one word in the Bible that shows up multiple times, and that is the city of Jerusalem, Yerushalayim. Essentially, they wanted to add a yod in here to make it dual, Yerushalayim, but you can't add a letter to the Holy Scriptures, so they just simply put a chirik right there to indicate that it's Yerushalayim. Now, truth be told, all evidence seems to indicate that Jerusalem was originally pronounced Yerushalem. In fact, even the Septuagint and therefore English still have the E sound right there, Yerushalem. And sometime um, after the writing of the New Testament anyway, no, yeah, I guess we could say it that way. No, you couldn't say it that way. Sometime between Ezra and the Masoretic scribes, huge length amount of time, this was introduced into the Masoretic tradition to say Yerushalayim. And okay, Hadavar Asher Haya El Yirmiyahu. This is the word that came to Jeremiah Me'et Yod-Heh-Vav-He, from being with, if you want to be literal about it, the Lord. Well, what does that mean? It means it was with the Lord, and now it's coming from the Lord to Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah. Achrei krot hamelech tzidkiyahu brit. All right, what is krot?
Cut.
To cut. Exactly, and that's paired with the word brit. Cutting a covenant in Hebrew is the English making a covenant.
So is that a participle?
Ooh, what is krot? It is not a participle. So I can make sure, is my audio not coming through very loud? I wonder if it's, I need to put my microphone a little closer. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Super, super. Krot is not a participle. Anyone have an idea of what krot, what form it is? Krot. No?
Just
Okay.
a katal?
Here, let me ask this one. What form is likro?
Infinitive.
Well, it's the same pattern. Shva here, cholam there. Shva here, cholam there. It's the same thing. They're both
Oh.
infinitives. And remember that the infinitives well, the infinitive constructs anyway, are technically nouns grammatically. Grammatically speaking, they're technically nouns. And in fact, we see that these two words are in construct one with the other, which only substantives can do, that is, nouns and certain adjectives. So krot hamelech would be the making of, or the cutting of, that is belonging to, like who it is coming from whom? The melech, the king. So the cutting of the king, cutting what? Brit. All right, so
Okay.
here's your verb. There's your object. It's not that the king was cut, but rather the cutting action belongs to or comes from the king. So yeah, that's a construct chain right there with an infinitive construct at the front of it. Furthermore, if anyone doesn't believe that an infinitive construct is essentially a noun, have a look at this preposition. Prepositions, like by definition, require an object. So what's the object? Krot hamelech.
The cutting of the.
Yep, the action of cutting that belongs to or is coming from the king. Which king? Tzidkiyahu. And so Tzidkiyahu cut a covenant, et kol ha'am. All right, is this the direct object marker?
No,
Would you care to defend your position?
because it's a proposition, I think.
I just mentioned not less than 2 minutes ago that the object is here, right?
Yes.
Your verb, albeit an infinitive, or the noun representing the action, that is the verbal form, which is actually a noun, is krot, and the action is being done to this object brit. So how can we have et being a direct object marker if your direct object is over here? Well, there are only two answers. Either it's one of those verbs where you can have multiple direct objects, like if I teach the student Hebrew, I am teaching both the student and I am teaching Hebrew. It's possible to have two direct objects for some verbs. Or, as you said, it's a preposition, and maybe this is the preposition with, which looks identical to the direct object marker in the absolute and suffixless forms. So we have options here. Is he cutting the covenant and cutting all the people? Or is he cutting the covenant with all of the people? Well, context seems to say, it seems to demand that it's probably a preposition with and not the direct object marker. So I'm gonna side with you, Voldone. And then we get in a share telling us more information about what we just read. Which or whom or that. Okay, so we're gonna get more information about Kol Ha'am, I guess. And everything that comes after a share is supposed to be a complete thought, a complete sentence. Birushalayim. How is that a complete sentence?
Is it a dependent clause?
A share, yeah, by definition, having the word a share there is a dependent clause, absolutely. Nevertheless, it should still indicate a complete sentence, albeit a dependent clause. And how, in order for there to be a complete thought, a complete sentence here, I need a subject, a verb at the very minimum. Okay. Birushalayim doesn't look like either one of them. So somebody help me turn this Birushalayim in Jerusalem into a complete sentence. What is the writer of Jeremiah, assumedly Jeremiah, what is he trying to convey is the complete thought, the complete sentence here, even though he only includes one word, Birushalayim?
We're in Jerusalem.
Okay. Implied verb. We have in Jerusalem, so we have an implied verb, is, are, am, was, were. Who's the implied subject?
All the people.
Of course, the one about whom we're getting more information. So the If we wanted to be explicit, we could say Kol ha'am asher hem birushalayim. Right? If we wanted to be explicit, we could put a pronoun right here that is 3MP and points back to, maybe it shouldn't be 3MP. Let's put who. Why who? Because that's 3MS and kol, actually. Both of those are 3MS. A people, the people, one collective group. Anyway, we could be explicit and say kol ha'am asher, more information about the kol ha'am, hu birushalayim. He, that is the people, is, implied verb, in Jerusalem. So both the subject, ha'am, and the verb, is, are both implied. Perfect. Let's see. Likro lahem dror. Likro, we already said that's an infinitive construct, just like krot was. So the melech did this action. It appears that the melech did that action as well. To call, literally, lahem doesn't mean like, means to them. Dror, liberty. Well, to call liberty, sounds better to say proclaim liberty to them. Good. Comments, questions? All right. Who would like to read next? Eileen, do you want to read next?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so it says like this. Leshar ish et avodo beish et she shepato
Mhm.
ha evri
Ha'ivri.
havri ve'ha'avriha
Ve'ha'ivriya.
ra ha'pishvi.
There's a closed unaccented syllable here. That's a kamatz katan, chofshim.
Hofsi. Okay. Le belait
Levilti.
la bilti. Av day.
Avod.
Avod.
It's another kamatz katan like this one was.
Okay.
Okay.
Avod bam bi Yehudi. He who is.
That's it. Good. Lishalach ish et avdo ve'ish et shifchato ha'ivri ve'ha'ivriya chofshim levilti avod bam bihudi achihu ish. All right, now that we've read it, can we make sense of it? King cut a command, a brit, a covenant with the people to proclaim liberty. Now, this seems to be in connection with that covenant that he cut. Lishalach, lishalach, to send forth or send away. Ish et avdo, a man, direct object marker, his servant or manservant or slave. Ve'ish et shifchato. Okay, why include ish here and ish here in this verse? What's the purpose of ish and ve'ish?
Sort of one by
man.
one.
Each and every. Yeah, exactly. That every man, that each man, one by one, every man would send away his manservant and his shifchato. Shifcha is the absolute form. Here it's suffixed, his maidservant. Ha'ivri v'ha'ivriya. Okay, this one is masculine singular, referring back to,
A
It's
man,
manservant.
manservant.
and this one is feminine, ha'ivriya, referring back to,
Shifchato.
Maid.
right. And then both of them are called chofshim, masculine plural, referring both to the feminine singular and the masculine singular, right? If you have a group of two, one's a man, one's a woman, or if you have a group of 1,000 female things, but one masculine thing is among it, in that group, then the adjective is going to be masculine plural. So that's what's happening here. Levilti. This is from the root bal, without, not, yeah. Avod bam. What is this form right here? Avod.
It's is that tautological? No.
That an infinitive?
It is an infinitive, but it's not an absolute and therefore not a tautological. It's got a reduced vowel and an O vowel. See the O vowel? No, it's down there. It's a kamatskatan, but it's still an O vowel.
So it's a active participle?
No, it's still an infinitive. It's just a construct. If it were a
Oh, okay.
participle, the O vowel would go on the first root letter.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But when you have a reduced vowel and O vowel, that's your infinitive construct, like we saw earlier with krot and kro. Those, of course, can take schwa, but under a guttural, it's not going to take a schwa. And instead of putting the cholam, well, it lost the stress. The stress is now moved to here. So this becomes an unstressed closed syllable that drops to a short vowel. Yep, kamatz katan. Avod.
Nikki.
And bihudi, to serve, let's see, levilti avod bam, without, to work with them or at them or by them, to them, against them. Closeness, right? This is the bet preposition. Bihudi. I wonder if this is apposition, saying the same thing twice, of a Yehudite. Achihu ish. Okay, how are we gonna parse this out? Where's the? I know what I need to do. We need to cut this up according to the cancellation marks. How shall I do this? No? Okay. Well, here in the middle, that would be an ideal place to start, there at the end. And we do get this little guy here.
Tifcha, or Tifcha, I guess.
The tipcha is right there and right there.
And then 18.
Mercha is right there.
Mhm.
And then someone help me out. I forgot the name of it.
Yetiv, no? Yetiv, I guess.
Yetiv?
Tavir.
Yetiv? Yeah, what was it? What did you say?
Tavir.
Tavir. There it is.
Tavir, yeah, Tavir.
Tavir. Well, I mean, maybe we can do this right here. Ish et avdo.
What about Gershaim, right?
Yeah, the Gershaim. Avdo.
Okay.
All right, so that gives us lishalach ish et avdo. Ve'ish et shifchato. Of course, the second part doesn't have a verb because it's ellipsis. It's the previous verb, assuming the previous verb into the next phrase, the next segment. And then ha'ivri v'ha'ivriya describes those two. Hofshim is the halfway point. Levilti avod bam. So that not to serve with them. Bihudi achihu. Yeah, with Yehudite Achihu, this right here looks like they're supposed to be attached one to another because of the Merchat Tipcha. So I guess apposition, his brother, a Yehudite, his brother, and then Ish. Now that none doesn't help me. That don't help me none. What are we going to do with this Ish right here? How does that fit into the translation? Is it the same Ish as we saw up here? Well, it's the same word, but are we referring to the same guy? Um, are we saying that every owner of a manservant or maidservant needs to release them because it is his brother who's the man's? I don't know.
Is
Or
that
the
the
brother of.
subject?
If it's the subject, then that means the man is Achihu. But now we've switched who the man is. First, it was the servant owner or master, and now it's the servant himself. I don't know. I mean,
Well, I mean, if you follow the thought in context, um, what God seems to be saying is that these people need to be released because they are fellow Jews. They're or fellow
correct.
Judites.
Right. So even if I
So,
can't answer explicitly whether this Ish
mhm,
is him or him, I can still say, I understand exactly what the text is telling us.
mhm,
So we're just looking, I guess we're looking at this strictly grammatically for the time being, so that you all can exercise your muscles in
yeah.
parsing out the Hebrew and turning it into something meaningful in the English. So I'm sorry I don't have a perfect answer for that, but yeah, we can still tell what the text is saying.
Can I
Um,
ask a
what's
question?
that? What's that?
L'shalach, is that a normal infinitive for, because that looks like a PL.
It's a
Is
PL.
that the infinitive for the PL l'shalach? I
Mm,
thought
kind
l'shaleach.
of.
Okay.
Okay, so when we think of the infinitive construct, like you said, le sha leach, should look like this with a tzere right here. This tzere, unfortunately, is not reliable. Sometimes it's a tzere, sometimes it drops to a shva, sometimes it turns into a patach. Even if there weren't a guttural here, it will oftentimes turn into a patach when it is syntactically close or connected to what follows. So what I see here is lishalach ish tells me, you know what? I'm not going to even speculate that. I'm just going to say tzere is unreliable and don't trust
Okay.
it. When we're looking for PL, we're looking for shva, either on a yiktol or a participle or even a preposition prefix, and then more primarily the patach and the dagesh. So that's all we need for the PL. Absolutely, yes. But quite regularly, you'll find a patach right there instead of tzere. And let's see, what is all
The translation, this correct goal, it's like a infinitive in PL
yeah,
form.
lishalach in the PL. This is the same PL verb that's used for Pharaoh getting Israel out of Egypt, and also the same verb for a man who sends away his wife in divorce. So it doesn't really seem like, hey, could you go give this message to someone for me to send, but rather get out, like almost urgency, right? So the king and Jeremiah are saying, hey, you guys need to say to your servants, you've been here too long. What I'm doing is wrong. Get out. Go now. Leave.
It's not like let my people go. It's
It's
not kagortitu.
um
No?
right. I don't know that it's necessarily the verb let my people go, but it is definitely the verb used when Pharaoh finally agrees and he sends Israel out of Egypt. It's that verb.
I think Isaiah, Hineni Shlachani. I wonder if that's
Shlachani is not going. If it's shlachani like this,
mm,
Shlach. Let's see, shlachani. Here it is. If it's spelled like this, then that's a kal binyan.
Okay.
If, on the other hand, it is shalachani. No. What are you saying? It's shlacheni, not shlachani, shlacheni. Sorry. There we go.
Okay.
Shlacheni. A tzere will show up before the pronominal suffix, either in yiktol, basically anything besides kal. Kal prefers ah vowels. Everything else, including yiktol and infin and imperatives, they're all going to take an a vowel. So shlacheni. Okay, now back to my original thought. If it were a PL, then it should be shalacheni. That would be PL. Shalacheni. Good. All right.
Thank you.
Who wants to read next? There were a couple
I'll
of
read.
hands up. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to read
Okay,
it.
hang on. There were a couple people with their hands up. Mary had her hand up, and now I don't see. Mary. Oh, there she is. Haha. Do you still want to read, Mary?
Yes, of course. I was
All right.
aiming for the first three verses, but
Oh
no problem.
no. Well, this is the third verse.
It's the third verse.
Go
I've
ahead.
read it once, so
All right.
maybe.
All righty.
Vaishmu Kal Hashalim.
Hasadim.
Hasalim, thank you. V'chol
Yes.
ha'am asher ba'u vavrit l'shalach
Mhm.
l'shalach
Right.
ish et avdo
Keep going.
va'ish et shifhato hafshim
It's a kamatskatan, a short O sound.
Ah,
Chofshim.
okay. Hofshim Levilti Avad Bam.
Mhm.
Oh, Vaishmu Vashalechu.
Right. Excellent. Very good. And you had four, let's count them up, four kamatskatan vowels, didn't you? Kol, chofshim, and avod. They are very tricky. They look
Yes.
they look precisely like the long ah sound. See down here on the bottom right? That
Yeah.
looks exactly like an ah sound. It is also an o sound. Well,
I
why?
missed that it was a construct.
How is it that the Masoretic scribes gave us one symbol for two different sounds?
I don't think they did. They were
like
two
that.
different sounds then, weren't they?
Well, I would argue that they were one sound, that this symbol represents the aw sound. And after the Masoretic scribes wrote down their tradition, where everything has the aw sound, then the Sephardic Jews came along and differentiated because of what's historically from two different vowel systems, so that we get both a long ah and a short o. I've given this history before. Whoever wants to listen in, it's essentially like this. Hebrew originally had only three vowels: ah, e, and u. U vowels are the ones that turned into O vowels, and in the Masoretic tradition, ultimately turned into aw sounds. The ah vowels in the Masoretic tradition also had the aw sound. So what you have is two completely historically unrelated vowels represented by a single symbol. And the only reason we differentiate the two today is because the Sephardic tradition said we pronounce this two different ways because they're historically different. It's really fun, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so 4 kamatz katan vowels. Vayishmeu chol hasarim v'chol ha'am. Let's see, let's put a space right there.
I should have caught the construct.
Yeah, you got it. You did well. Asher ba'u vabrit. Okay, there's the Revi. Lishalach. There's that. This verse sounds an awful lot like the one we read on the previous slide.
Yeah.
We've got this repeated, that repeated, avadbam, chofshim, avdo. Anyway, so not a big deal. So we don't have to talk too much about these forms. Lishalach ish et avdo, ve'ish et shivchato, chofshim, levilti avod bam, od. Anymore. Vaishma'u, vaishalechu. Usually this isn't the syllable that gets the stress, is it? Atzere, and whenever we add the u on the end, usually the stress moves to the end, and that becomes a shva. Vaishalachu. But the stress stays here and preserves the vowel. Why?
It's pausal.
Because we're at the end of the sentence, and therefore it takes a pausal form. End of the verse, or halfway point of the verse, or a few other cancellation marks get this pausal form that lets everyone in the crowd know I've come to the end of a complete thought. Vaishalechu. Okay. What binyan is vayishmeu?
3MP.
That's person, gender, number. Good. Person, gender, number.
call?
What's the binyan? Yeah, it's a regular old, plain old pa'al or kal binyan. And what is vayish or vaishalechu? What binyan is it?
Vaikol.
That's the form.
Yeah.
It is a PL. Yeah, because it's got the shva, the patach, the dagesh. We know this one over here is kal because of the chirik, shva, and there should be a theme vowel right there, but it dropped it dropped when it lost the stress. All right, who would like to read the next verse? It's got a ktiv kere difference. And Anatoly, do you want to read it?
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right.
Vaishavu Acharei. Yeah. Vaya Shuvu Vayashuvu Acharei Ken Hen Vaishavu Vaishavu et Ha'abadim Be'et Hashefachot Asher Shilchu Hafishim Chofshim Baich Bishum
Or
Baich Bishum
good.
La'abadim Belish Pachot.
Good. All right. I can answer that. Last time I had a little bit of trouble determining which was which, but now I know which one is which. Which one of these is the way it's written, and which one of them is the way we're supposed to read it?
Ketiv,
Ketiv.
it's written.
Good. Ketiv. So
Ketiv.
which one is written and which one is what the scribes tell us to read it as?
Yeah, the first one, I guess.
The first one. Yes, it is. Ketiv. When why I put the E on the end, I don't know.
And
Ketiv. Ketiv this has no cantillation mark. This one does. So you can tell that the one on the left is the Masoretic tradition. So that's what they're telling us to read it as. Ktiv kre. How it's supposed to be written, or how it's written in the scroll, versus how we're supposed to read it. Okay, so what's the difference between these two? Not really that big of a deal. The consonantal difference between the two is an extra yod.
And Tiamim, Zakef Katon, I guess.
Right. But just remember that consonantally, that means I'm ignoring all of the dots, all of the vowels, all the dagesh, all the everything. Consonantally, what's the only difference between these two? An extra yod.
Dagesh, yeah. Dagesh.
Yod. Dagesh is extra. Strip
Yeah.
all of that, and as far as consonants go, we just have an extra yod. That extra yod, though, is what tells us that this should be a he-feel verb, and therefore the vowels are, or it's going to be vowel pointed differently. Yach bishum, vayach bishum. So this one is a he-feel verb, and this one is a
Yeah.
kal.
Kal.
It's kal because of the chirik and the shva. If it were PL, we would expect that shva patach dagesh from earlier. Where is it? Not on here, is it? Well, no. We did get shi lechu, but that's katal, that's completed tense. It was on the previous slide where you had a shva, a patach, and a dagesh. The patach shows up on the first root letter, dagesh in the second. The shva shows up on the prefix, usually a yiktol prefix. And then this vowel doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. Okay. La'avadim, for servants, velishfachot. Is this an audible or silent shva?
It's a silent, preceded by here, it's a short vowel. Belish.
Because of the short vowel, it's a silent shva, right? Okay, then why don't we get a weak dagesh in this pay?
I guess a posal form or something that has to do with it.
It's because I asked you a trick.
Preceded by a shva.
No, it's supposed to be shba in the beginning of word, back at kefet. It should be.
Here, let's look at a different example. This is a shva preceded by a short vowel, and the following letter gets a weak dagesh. That's the way it should be. In fact, this one is too. Any others? Nope, those are the only ones. Okay. And truth be told, I asked you a trick question. This is neither a silent.
If you have to guess there.
This is neither a silent nor an audible mobile shva. It's what's called a medium
shva.
Right? Why? Because if you took off the le and just had the word shvachot, would that be audible or silent? Audible, definitely. So just adding a lamed to the front magically turns it into a silent? Well, it's stuck between two worlds. So it's what's called a medium shva. But as I've mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. The whole debate about how to pronounce certain shvas didn't exist before the 14th century. It was another one of those issues that sprang up from how people pronounced Hebrew and that invented problems. Originally, shva was just an extremely short vowel sound, and that's it. Okay. What binyan is vayashivu?
Kal, probably. For sure.
Here, for contradistinction, what's the binyan of vayashuvu?
He feels
masculine plural.
Call.
It is third masculine plural. So the first one is kal, and the second one is hifil. And the only way we know that is because of this chirik right there. And because the action is being done to somebody. So the context, even if we had no vowel points whatsoever, and the root shuv means to return, come back. Can I come back somebody? Not really. Unless I put it into the causative binyan, which is he feel, then I can cause somebody to come back. And that's how you can get a direct object on that verb. If I make somebody do it, then it has to be he feel. So the scribe said, well, if it's he feel, let's stick a chirik right there and make it causative. If it didn't have this et right here and it didn't have a direct object, honestly, the scribes could have, not that they could have put an u vowel under here, vayashuvu, and it would be just a repeat of this right here. It's just written defectively. Here it has the vav representing the u sound. Here it doesn't have the vav, so they put they could put a kibbutz in there. But I digress. That would be redundant to say the same exact verb twice, so it must be different. And so they said, well, if it has to be different from this and it has to take a direct object, then it must be he feel. Let's put a dot. Of course, they didn't think through all that. They just simply memorized from their teachers what the tradition is, and then they wrote it down for us. But yes, that is correct. This is the kal binyan, and this one is the hif'il causative binyan. Whoa, what a short little verse. Who wants to read a short little verse?
I'll read it.
All right, Gabriel.
Vayehi devar Adonai el Yirmiyahu me'ed Adonai lemor.
That's a little too short. And there's not much to talk about in there, so let's go ahead and have you read this one too.
Okay. Ko amar Adonai Elohei Yisrael Anochi karati berit et avotehem beyom hotzii otam me'eretz Mitzrayim mimbeit avadim lemor.
Excellent. Ko amar Adonai Elohei Yisrael. Thus he said, it is Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, the God of Israel. That et nachta right there is a pause. Oops, clear that. It's the halfway point of the verse. Why? Because we're starting direct speech, a quote. Anochi karati vrit min avotechem. That's a little pause. Biyom hotzi'i otam me'eretz Mitzrayim. Another one. Mibet avadim. That's another one right there. Lemor. End of verse. Where's the end of the quote?
So pasuk lemor? No. Just okay. Egypt, Mitzrayim.
It might be. We'll probably have to read the next verse, but if it continues into the next verse, then that means the word lemor is included in what God actually said or is actually saying. I have cut. This is the verb karat, and it's a strong dagesh in the tav. Why?
It's geminate.
Touche. Why is it geminate?
Well, because T is the ending of,
yes,
for the first common singular.
Good.
But you don't want to say karatati.
Right. They collapse together. The root is kaf resh tav, but the suffix is tav yod. So the two tavs collapse together with strong dagesh. Karati. And I cut a covenant with avotechem, with your plural avot. Avot, masculine or feminine?
Masculine.
Irregular. Yeah, irregular masculine, right? And natural gender says fathers are masculine. Biyom hotzi'i. What kind of a word is hotzi'i?
He
feel is the correct binyan.
Participle, no?
Ooh, you're looking at that O right there, and that's why you said participle.
It's not.
Here's the trick, or here's the problem. A he feel participle starts with a mem,
Yeah.
And even if this were a call participle, that would require this to be the first root letter, that the second, and this the third.
Infinitive
Yeah.
construct, Mary?
Yeah, infinitive construct is correct. The E on the end shows possession, and hotzi is the he feel infinitive construct. To cause them to go out belonging to me, right? The action of causing them to, the action of causing to go out that is done by me, otam, them. So those two words together could be the thing belonging to me that is causing to go out, yatsa, them. Well, that's clunky. Let's just say I brought them out. But technically, hotzi is a noun. It's an infinitive construct. How do I know it's a noun? Because it's in construct with this, on the day of my bringing out them. Me'eretz Mitzrayim, from the land of Egypt, mi beit avadim, from the house of slaves, lemor. So now let's see if the quote continues into the next verse. Yep, it does. Super. Who would like to read this one?
I'll read.
Go ahead, Voldane.
Because Sheva Shanim Teshal Ku Ish at Achim Ha Ivri Asher Yimakar Leka Vadaka Sheish Shanim Vesi La Tol Ham Haf Shir Hafshi Mein Bak Veo Sham U Al Te Kam Ella Velo Hitu at Haz Num
What's that last word?
Ozam
Oznam.
Hoznum.
Oznam. Good. What are oznayim?
Ears.
Ears. Oznam would be the ear belonging to them, their ear. Technically singular, but we get the idea. So that is a kamatz katan under oznam. Why is it an O sound? Because the original word for ear was something like uzn, uzn, which turns into ozen, either with kamatz katan or a cholam. And then, of course, the shva turns into a segol to break up the consonantal cluster, ozen. Miketz sheva shanim. What's me?
Mean.
From.
Min, from. Good. Sheva shanim. Shanim, masculine or feminine?
Feminine.
You guys are not easy to trick anymore. That's feminine. Sheva is also feminine. Remember, if it were masculine, it would have ironically,
Shiva.
masculine, a feminine looking ending on it. Shiva. Shiva. How many sons do you have? Shiva. How many daughters do you have? Sheva. So this is the feminine and that's the masculine. I did not write that wrong. Years is feminine, so it gets the feminine form. Sheva shanim. Tishalchu. Is this PL? Shva patach dagesh. Of course it is. Shva patach dagesh. It's the PL. Ish et achiv. Did you notice earlier how his brother was achihu, and now it's achiv? Why? What's the difference? Why is it spelled differently? That one versus the one from earlier.
And they drop hey, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. The way I like to teach it is, hey, the who suffix is original, and it's the one that simply turns into an O sound. Well, here you can't have achio. So somebody dropped the vowel altogether, and instead of it being achio, like it is in Aramaic, and it simply becomes consonantal, achiv. Somebody really dropped the ball on that one. But that's the way it's pronounced now, so what can you do? Ha'ivri asher yimacher lecha. What binyan is yimacher? What is the root? What is the form?
Machar.
Machar is the root, so we've got 1, 2, 3. What form is it?
He will be
Kal.
sold.
Got the-
It would be like he would have been sold.
Nifal. It's Nifal.
Good.
It's an assimilation of
one
Neon.
step at a time. Yes.
Yeah, Nifal.
So this triplet or this trio of information is what tells us that it is
Triangle.
Nifal,
Yes.
which tells us it's passive. Not that he sold, but he, sorry, not that he will sell, but that he will be sold.
Okay,
And that he will be sold to you. So how now we can get into Cheryl's question. Well, how can we really translate this best? At the end of 7 years, so hypothetically, if somebody has a servant who's a Hebrew, you shall, yiktol, send him away, which yimacher lecha. So here we have, let's make a timeline. And because we're because we're learning Hebrew, let's do it the opposite direction. Here's the moment when the Hebrew servant is bought. Let's call that bought with a B. And we're going to go forward in time this way because it's Hebrew, right to left. All right. So try to flip it in your brains. And you shall let him go at the end of 6 years. So here's the 6-year mark. Both 6 and sell start with an S, so I'll mark that as S. Here's when he was bought. Here's when he sold. That's 6 years. When does the verb yimacher take place on this timeline?
Oh,
Say again, I didn't hear you.
I'm not sure. Is it sold? S?
It does. The meaning of it is literally, he will be sold to you. So let's think about this logically. When does that take place?
At the beginning.
At the B, right? At the beginning. So we've got the verb tishalchu, you shall send, coming first, and then only afterward, asher yimacher lecha, a yiktol verb coming afterward. Well, how am I supposed to translate that? Well, we're smart. We'll figure it out. He will have been sold to you, or no, it has to be incompleted. He will be sold. Yeah. I don't know how you could. I don't think English possesses a tense that is perfective of a future event. I think English lacks the ability to say that. Huh. I don't know. Anyway, it is a yiktol. Why? Because it hasn't happened yet. If you get, it's all hypothetical, right? If you get a Hebrew servant, it's incompleted. It hasn't happened yet. It's hypothetical. So both you shall let him go and he will have been sold. They're both yiktol because they haven't happened yet.
Is it kind of conditional or that?
Yeah. Basically, Hebrew has 2 tenses. Well, in a simple way, Hebrew only has 2 tenses. Those things that
Completed
have
in
completed and those things that are not completed. Exactly. So not completed includes quite an array of possible English translations. And we have to be the translators that honestly and faithfully translate as best we can from Hebrew into English. We have to choose the right tense based on the context. All right. So now that we have 2 yiktols moving forward, vishilachto. what form is that? It's not yiktol.
The Becatol?
Bekata.
It has to be. It can't be katal with an and in front of it because it's all hypothetical. It hasn't happened yet. So it has to be vekatal as well. And you shall, where's the you? That was a hard question. That was a hard question. Where's the shall part? That's the vekatal, right? Where's the him part?
Oh, at the
Oh,
end.
Oh,
now
At the
where's the you part?
Tav at the end.
The top.
Yes, the tav at the end should have been ta, shilachta, or in fact, vishilachta. And then the who or the vav comes at the end and turns it from a tau into a to sound. Vishilachto. So the tav is 2ms, the o is him, 3ms, and you shall send him away. Chofshi, how shall you do it? In
Free.
freedom, chofshi. Me'im or me'imach, from being with you, or from with your household. Velo sham'u. Uh-oh. This is not yiktol and it's not vekatal. How do we translate this?
It's kind of not vocative, it's imperative. Do listen. Katal.
I would disagree.
Mhm.
It's a katal. It's a plant. Look, sham'u means they did not, or they did listen. Put the lo in front of it. They did not listen.
Yeah,
So we have
like,
God quoting, I told them that if you get a Hebrew servant, then after 6 years you shall set him free, blah, blah, blah. Velo sham'u. This is not a regular old and here. We're looking at um not
Like
conjunction, but rather a
contrast.
contrast. So, but they did not listen. Who? Avotechem, your fathers did not listen. Elai, unto me. Velo hitu. Now, this is also a katal form, and they did not. Of course, it's hard to tell what the root is because you only have one root letter, the tet.
Is it an ifal because of the dagesh?
Natan, no.
Nata?
Natan.
Nun, tet, yod.
Nati.
Yod is missing because it almost always is, and the nun has assimilated
Assimilation.
into the tet. Yep. This is a he feel katal. He feel. The hey here is of the he feel. The chirik is of he feel. We don't get the chirik yod of he feel because yod messed everything up. Nata is the root that means to incline, decline, something like that. So causing something to be at an angle. They did not cause to be at an angle their ear. They didn't go, hmm. They did not incline their ear. So these katal verbs are showing a contrast between I commanded through Moses that everybody do this, but they did not do this, they did not do that.
So you with he too, the only root letter is the tet, right?
Tet is the only visible root letter. The
Letter.
nun is missing, and the yod, which
Yod.
usually shows up as a vowel hey, is also missing.
Oh.
If it were a completely strong verb, let's go ahead and pretend like it's a completely strong verb. Here's the he feel. Here's the chirik yod of he feel. And then here's the u at the end saying they did it. That's what the verb should have looked like.
But
Hintiu. But you have a lot of complex vowels there, and you have a nun at the end of a syllable. So we see that Hebrew simplified it down. The nun at the end of a syllable assimilates, so it's bye-bye. And then the ew is a triphthong, EU, that simplifies down to simply who, he, tu. Hebrew doesn't like those complex
Praying
vowels.
the 2 yods. How come it's 2 yods?
There are 2 yods, one because of he feel requiring a yod.
Yes.
Hang on a second. I just made a mistake here. Hang on. Put that back. There we go. Okay, where are we? I lost my place. Here it is. The clear. Okay, good. So hey is he feel. Okay, yod. This yod right here is what we expect to show up in he feel.
Mm.
And then this yod is what should have been the 3rd root letter.
Oh.
And
It's weak.
didn't leave any trace, right? It just dropped both.
There's no trace in this current form right here. Fortunately, there are a few forms in the Bible where the yod is preserved, usually in older Hebrew
For sample
archaic
or
poetry, maybe sometimes in the Psalms, but by and large, the yod completely disappears and we never get to see it again in certain forms. Yep. Correct. Cheryl, do you want to read this?
Okay. ותשובו אתם היום ותעשו את הישר בעיני לקרוא דרור איש לרעהו ותכרתו ברית לפני בבית אשר נקרא שמי עליו.
Very good. That's it. ותשובו. Binyan? Root?
להושיב, it's a he feel then.
sure, no, for sure.
Oh no, you will
It's
turn.
past passive.
Okay, there's Vayiktol. This is Yiktol.
Is that Pual?
No.
No, tashivu would be he feel, wouldn't it?
Right. Tashivu would be he feel.
Yeah, so that would be a kal.
Yep. Good.
Okay.
So the root is shin, vav, bet, and the vav has affected the vowels, producing a kibbutz right there.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the vav shows up in the plene spelling, the full spelling, but here it's defective. We have no vav, so the scribes put a kibbutz in there instead. Vatashuvu. You mentioned lehoshiv. What is the root of lehoshiv?
Yashav.
Yashav. So the root of this one is yashav, but the root of that one is shuv.
Okay, so that's to return and that's to sit, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Yashav is to sit, and therefore in the he feel would be cause to sit or cause to settle a land or city.
Mm-hmm.
And vatashuvu atem, and you all turned hayom today. Vatasu et hayashav. So this being a vayiktol, is this supposed to be narrative?
Vatasu. You turned Vatasu.
See, there's that one. Usually vayiktol is
that
narrative.
is vayiktol. It is
Mhm.
vayiktol.
It is vayiktol. The question is, how is it being used? It's odd to see the prophets using vayiktol unless they're recounting something that happened in a certain narrative.
It's in a time past from the first verb.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Consecutive action.
Consecutive actions. I guess that's more like the proper definition of vayiktol or vekatal, is that there are consecutive actions. This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. It's just that most of the time vayiktols are narrative consecutive actions. And then so-and-so did this, and so-and-so did that. And then as the story goes, he did this. All right. So do we have God through the prophet saying, and you all repented? Hayom?
No.
Hmm.
Um,
And you all have done what is right in my eyes? Why not? The king made a covenant that these people will go free. And now you all have repented today and done what
No.
is right in my eyes.
Mm,
Why not? Let's keep reading, please. Likrod dror ish l'ra'ehu, to call or proclaim liberty,
mhm.
every man to his friend or neighbor, and
Tichratu. Yeah, made a covenant.
you all cut a covenant, lifanai before me, babayit in the house. What house?
The temple.
Probably.
Because it's by my name. It's called by my name.
Asher nikra shmi alav. Uh-huh.
So I think he's saying.
the
I think
alav is
he's
referring back
saying
to that.
that they did the right thing at first.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did the right thing at first. At first. The house that it is called, or it has been called, whichever one, my name upon him, upon it, the house. So the antecedent of the Vav here is a bite, or excuse me, bite, 3ms. So if we wanted to say literally, the house that it is called, or my name is called upon the house. All right. Would someone else like to read, or shall I?
I'll read
Yeah,
if no one else does.
Just a moment. Gavriel, do you want to read this?
I
Or
can
who is
read
that?
it.
Anatoly?
Yes, I'd
Tuesday.
like to.
Tuesday hasn't read yet. Please, Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Go for
Vatashuvu vatechalelu et shemi vatashivu ish et avdo veish et shivchato asher shilachtem
That's right. Hopefully.
hofshim lenafsham vatich belu vatich beshu otam lihyot lechem la avadim v'lishfachot.
Very good. All right. You guys aren't going to fall for this a second time, right? Is this audible or silent shva?
It's silent.
It's a trick.
Okay,
It's a trick.
oh, tricky. That's right.
Medium.
It's medium shva.
medium,
Good.
medium.
Is this one silent or mobile?
It's silent. Lichad.
It's silent.
Silent.
No, it's also medium. Look, if you take off the
medium.
le, you get hiot. The only
Yeah,
difference
sorry
is
about
you don't have a begad kefat letter afterward to confirm that it's medium. And which one is it? That one's the same. So that one's also medium, if you want to call it that. Is this one silent or mobile?
Silent.
Definitely silent. There's a short vowel before it. There's a strong weak dagesh there. It's definitely silent. And this one?
It should be
It's
double.
audible.
But they have
It's vocal
Double.
because there's a dagesh. It's doubled.
There is a
But they
strong
have-
doubling dagesh. We can tell because of the priest. Well, it doesn't matter. If there's a dagesh in it, then it's going to be audible.
Lamet as well would be strong and double. Betaha lelo.
Yes, both of those have a doubling dagesh. Very good. And all right, vatashuvu, and you all turned. Vatechalalu. Is this a root we're familiar with? Halal.
Polluted.
Hint: it is not halal or halel, like hallelujah.
It's cha.
It's not that one. This
Isn't
one
that the
is
one for cursed?
very good. So you have to be very careful to not pronounce it hallelu, but rather hallelu. Completely different meanings. So
Desecrate?
Accent
on desecrate.
halalu. Accent.
The accent goes on the end. Vatchalalu. And you polluted et shmi, my name. Vatashivu, and you caused to return. You made something go back. Ish et avdo. Oh no! You set him free, and now you're causing that avdo to come back. The ish et shifchato, and the handmaid. Asher shilachtem, which you all did send away. Chofshim, you sent them away free. And now you're calling them, now you're getting them back, putting them back into slavery. Len nafsham. All right. Usually nefesh or nafish has to do with life, being, soul. And I assume this is supposed to go with this somehow, that you set them free for their own soul so they can do whatever their being desires. Vatichbeshu, kavash, you subjected them. Otam, lihyot lachem, to be to you, belong to you. La'avadim velishfachot, for servants and handmaids. Oive.
It reminds me of a New Testament scripture. For freedom you've been set free, I think, but do not become entangled again in the yoke of bondage. And it's addressing leaders. They've been made free, and you're gonna put things that God is not putting on them back on them.
Right.
Yeah. And we see that.
All right. This verse has another ktiv, a difference between what is written and what is read. Gabriel. Is Gabriel here?
He just left.
He just left. Okay. Anatoly, please.
Okay. Lachen, ko amar Adonai, atem lo shamatem elai likro derur ish leachiv beish lire echo hineni kore hineni hineni kore lachem derur neum Adonai ele herav ele hadeber be'et harav ונתתי אתכם and Liz באה לזה אבא לעזה בא לכל ממלכות הארץ.
Right. לכל ממלכות הארץ. What is the difference between the ktiv and kre?
Mouse, I guess. If yes, les. Yeah, it's
two letters got switched.
Methesis or just vice versa?
Oh, that's a fair question. Yeah, I don't know. What you're referring to does occur, where two root letters will get swapped, especially between one language and one Semitic language and another. Right. But I guess I would say that maybe the scribes thought that, I don't know, Jeremiah or somebody made a mistake, so they said, no, we're going to read it this way. But no, I haven't looked up the difference between, is there a root Zain Vav Ein versus Zain Ein Vav? I didn't look that up. But just try to find the difference between the two and Yeah, of course we could study it more if we want to, but not right now. Lechol mamlechot ha'aretz. Very. Lachen kol ma'ar Adonai. Therefore, thus says the Lord, Atem lo shmatem. You all did not listen. Elai, to me. Likro dror, in proclaiming liberty. Well, you did, but then you took it back, so it's not really liberty. Ish le'achiv, a man to his brother. Ve'ish le'ehu, and a man to his neighbor. Hinni, this is only audible because we have the same letter, or at least a close enough sound, the same letter, hinni, and we have to pronounce some kind of a vowel sound there. Otherwise, it just becomes hinni, and you can't tell there are two noons there. Hinni, kore lachem dror, behold, where's the I coming from? Ne'um Adonai. Oh, right. Hinani is behold me. Behold me proclaiming to you all liberty, Ne'um Adonai, el hacherev. Oh, wow. I proclaim liberty to the sword and the
Declare.
pestilence and the famine. Really? I am calling to you three things. I'm giving you all the liberty. And I will put you all, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Is that how you all read it? See, I am proclaiming to you all liberty. It's almost like there's this intentional twist. Behold, you have not proclaimed liberty to your slave. Therefore, I will proclaim liberty to you, to the sword, the pestilence, and the famine. Ooh. And I will make you all a terror to all the kingdoms of the earth.
Zayin Bav Ayin is to shake off or agitate. Shake off, like shake off
I get
something
it.
or
Yeah. I wonder if that's actually a better reading. Like I will, I'm almost imagining like a pepper shaker, just sprinkle you to all the nations of the land.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because otherwise it almost sounds like he's punishing the nations. I don't know.
Right.
But he's saying you are going to be shaken off. I don't know.
And I
Or
will set
individually.
you all
Yes.
to blah blah blah. To be shaken or to a terror. For a
To
terror.
agitate.
Right. So that's an interesting one right there. Remember that typically the Jewish way to read the Bible is not what is the one true interpretation. It's more like how many different ways can we read this? And so I really enjoy. I'm glad you looked that up. Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay.
All right. Who said they wanted to read? Anybody want to read?
I'll go again if nobody
Go ahead,
wants.
Cheryl.
ונתתי את האנשים העברים את בריתי אשר לא הקימו את דברי הברית אשר כרתו לפני העגל אשר כרתו לשניים ויעברו בין בתריו,
right.
Yeah.
What's the root of betarav?
בתavresh.
Bet-tavresh. Beter. Or it might be batar. It might be batar. It's hard to know because of this plural pattern shows up both in words like davar, and it shows up in words like like melech, right? Seglets, right? So what's the plural of melech? Or how do you say his kings? Well, that would be melachav. And how do you say his words? Well, that would be dvarav. So the plural is the exact same for both. So that tells us that the word, the absolute form of this bet tav resh word is either beter or batal. And I have this suspicion that it's probably batal. Make sure to put the stress here on a vekatal v'natati et ha'anashim ha'ovrim. So this is
it's a participle.
It is, yeah, and it's to cross or pass. But it's exactly the same idea of transgress, right? Gress
Passing
is to
over
move,
the covenant.
like an egress is where you go out, right? So transgress is to cut across. It's the same thing. Ha'ovrim, the one who are cutting across, transgressing. Et briti, my covenant. Asher lo hekimu, the ones that did not cause to stand up or be
established.
Yeah, I didn't want to say established because of the word kun, but yeah, it's kind of like an establishment, like a what's the word for an institute? Is it tron or something like that. That's a different word. And what about the word for multiple stories of a house? Koma. It's from the same root, kum. Anyway, it has to do with standing up. So this is the he-feel causative, making something exist, establish, stand. That you did not cause to stand, that is, perform my words of the covenant.
When do you see
Not my words of the covenant, huh?
When do you see the tsere under the hay of hikimu?
Great question. In a standard he-feel, we expect it to be a chirik, right? If for some reason we lose the first or second consonant, no, let me say that again. If we lose the second consonant so that the first one becomes the beginning of the syllable, so now we have an open syllable on that hey, that's when it becomes a long tsere. So in the example of hekimu, it should have been, let's see, should have been something like this: hik, wim, mu, hikwimu. But of course, this combination vowel simplified down, and so this becomes the beginning of the syllable, and this vav essentially disappears. Hikimu. Oh, well, if that's the end of the syllable, then that means it needs to be a long vowel. Hekimu.
Okay.
Because long vowels go in open syllables and short vowels go in
it created
syllables.
You had to, otherwise you would have a short vowel.
Otherwise, you'd have a short vowel and an open
consonant.
syllable. Right, exactly.
Okay.
And asher karat. Oh, karatu. You said that correctly. Karatu. It's not a kamatz katan. How do we know? Because it's a katal verb, and the katal verb is supposed to have an a pattern. There is no historical o or u vowel. Karatu lefanai. They cut before my face. Ha-egel. Ooh, egel. That reminds you of a story back in the book of Exodus.
A golden one.
The golden calf, exactly. Asher karatu, that they cut lishnayim into
two parts.
Twain, they cut in twain. Vayavru. Oy, oy, oy. What binyan is vayavru?
Vaiktor.
That's the form.
Oh, sorry, yeah. It's
Is it call?
I hear kal. Do I hear anything else?
I think it's kal.
Okay. With a patach underneath the yictol prefix letter?
Harmonizing.
You all will not get tripped up. That's amazing. Even though there is a patach here, the patach is there because of what should have been vaya'a, because of the guttural. But then you can't have two audible reduced vowels in a row. So it just turned it into a full patach.
Harmonization.
Right. So, well, it's two problems, actually. The reason that we have ya'a to begin with is because of the guttural. But then the reason that the reduced patach under the ayin, the reason it doesn't stay is because it's coming at the end of the syllable, and the following vowel, or shva, is also audible. You have two audibles in a row. I'm sorry, you can't have two audibles in a row. Hebrew will fix it by turning the first one into a short vowel. Vayavru instead of vayavru. That's hard to say. Vayavru. But yes, kal is the correct answer. If it were he feel, what would it look like?
Yaviru.
Good. There would be an explicit yod there. Vaya. And this could actually be a shva. Vayaviru. Or it could have a reduced. Doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Bein b'tarav, between the parts. All right, we have 2 minutes left. Who wants to read the last verse? Maybe I will. Sarei Yehuda v'sarei Yerushalayim הסריסים והכהנים וכל עם הארץ העוברים בין בתרי העגל. This answers our question from earlier. We had b'tarav, and I said, well, it could be two different patterns. This tells us which one it is. Because of the chirik right there, it tells me that the original form of the word was bitr,
Beit.
like this, which then becomes beter.
Beter.
It's a seglet.
So it's a second, yeah.
There, that's better. Beter. Okay, never mind. That was funny. Bitrei ha'egel, the parts of the calf.
Okay.
And if someone has a question, stop me. Otherwise, I'm going to keep reading or almost through the whole reading. V'natati otam beyad oyevehem uveyad mivakshe. That should have a dagesh, but it's a coal mine letter. Nafsham. V'hayita, mobile shva. Nivlatam l'ma'achal לעוף השמיים ולבהמת הארץ. בהמה. ואת צדקיהו מלך יהודה ואת שריו אתן, missing nun, נתן, אתן ביד אויביהם וביד מבקשי נפשם, וביד חיל מלך בבל. העולים מעליכם. The ones going up from upon you is what it looks like. The Babylonians that are coming like to go up against you, I guess. הנני מצווה נאום אדוני והשיבותים אל העיר הזאת ונלחמו עליה ולכדוה. Oh, from lachad. ולכדוה ושרפוה, saraf, to burn, ואש, ואת ערי יהודה אתן, missing nun, שממה מאין יושב, without an inhabitant. כה אמר אדוני אלוהים לא בריתי יומם ולילה, חוקות שמיים וארץ לא שמתי. Is this this is the second to last? Yep, this is the last verse. גם זרע יעקב ודוד עבדי אמאס מקחת מזרעו מושלים אל זרע אברהם ישחק ויעקב כי אשיב את שבותם וריחמתים. What binyan is virichamtim?
It's a Pia.
It's a
Yeah.
PL. So there's a mem
Yeah.
on the end. There's a T, Vav on the front. Richam should have a dagesh, but it's a guttural, so it won't. Chirik, dagesh is a PL. Richam or richem is to have pity. T says, I have pity. Vav at the front says, I will have pity.
On them.
On them. Sweet. Only 2 minutes over. Excellent. Do you all have any fun?
Very
You
much so.
bet.
All right, super.
Yes.
Thanks for
Yes.
coming. Thank you for studying Hebrew, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week for the next tour. Haftarah portion. What is it after Mishpatim?
I haven't looked at.
Which one?
Yes.
Oh, Teruma. That's right.
Teruma.
Yeah, Teruma. 1157 in the Stone Chumash. I just want to see what the passage is. It is 1 Kings 5:26 to 6:13. Okay, 1 Kings. Is that the prayer of Solomon?
Maybe.
180 years after Exodus, when the temple was being built. And Cedar. It's definitely about Solomon and the building of the temple. That much I can tell. Cool. So that's for next week. Until then, lehitraot v'shalom.
Thank you. Thank you, Jared.
Bye. Shalom.
Shalom.